Lewis Hamilton faces a huge challenge in his journey with Ferrari after Red Bull's shock announcement rocked the Formula One world. His long-awaited move to the legendary team is unlikely to be a smooth one, with several obstacles waiting to be overcome. Can Hamilton handle the pressure and prove himself in the shadow of Red Bull's dominance? Let's dive in. Seven-time world champion Lewis Hamilton has taken a major step in his career by leaving Mercedes after 12 glorious years. This decision is not only about seeking a new challenge, but also an ambitious move to make new history with Ferrari. The legendary Italian team has been yearning for glory since their last world title in 2007 with Kimi Räikkönen. With Hamilton on board, Ferrari hopes to end its 18-year title drought and return to dominating Formula One. For Hamilton, this is more than just a team move. This is a chance to prove that his glory is not limited to one team or one era. If he can lead Ferrari back to the top, he will not only write a new chapter in his career, but potentially surpass the record of 7 world championships he currently shares with Michael Schumacher. His success with Ferrari will further cement his status as one of the greatest drivers in F1 history. But the road to glory will not be easy. Hamilton has faced major challenges from the outset. The results of pre-season testing in Bahrain have shown that Ferrari still face a number of technical hurdles that need to be overcome immediately. Although there are high expectations for the duo of Hamilton and Charles Leclerc, Ferrari's performance so far has not been convincing enough to compete with the dominant Red Bull. Hamilton's official debut with Ferrari will begin at the 2025 Australian Grand Prix. This race will be the first test for Hamilton and his team to prove whether they are capable of competing at the top of the standings. Formula One fans and analysts are now waiting to see how Hamilton's journey with Ferrari will unfold. Will it be a great success story or the toughest challenge of his career? What is certain is that the 2025 season will be one of the most interesting in F1 history. The Ferrari SF25 is expected to be a new weapon for Lewis Hamilton on his journey with the legendary Italian team. With claims of significant performance improvements, this car is expected to be up to 0.4 seconds faster than its predecessor. Hopes are high for the SF25 as Ferrari looks to return to the pinnacle of its glory and give Hamilton a competitive car to challenge for the World Championship. However, the reality on the track does not seem to match the expectations. Initial data from the test session shows that the SF25 is still lagging behind its main rivals, particularly McLaren and Red Bull. The car's performance is not yet convincing enough to threaten the top position, and various technical problems are still challenging the team. One of the biggest criticisms came from former F1 technical director Gary Anderson, who compared the SF25 to the Mercedes W15, a car that Hamilton complained about a lot last season. Anderson felt that Ferrari did not seem to have found the optimal solution to improve the stability and balance of the car, two aspects that are very important to Hamilton's driving style. The SF25 has characteristics that remind me of the Mercedes W15, which is notoriously frustrating for Hamilton. It still seems to struggle with stability and handling, which is very much at odds with Hamilton's preference for a smooth and predictable balance, Anderson wrote in his column for The Telegraph. He went on to point out that since testing began, the SF25 has not shown much improvement over previous cars. One of the main issues that has caused concern is the phenomenon of bouncing, or porpoising, which affects the driver's comfort and control on straights. From the start of testing, the SF25 did not appear to be a major improvement over the Mercedes W15. When Hamilton drove the car, it was clear that the car was bouncing and not giving him the feedback he wanted, added Anderson. This situation is certainly a serious concern for Ferrari, who need to find a solution immediately before the season really gets underway. If these issues are not resolved soon, the SF25 could be a major disappointment for Hamilton and Ferrari, rather than a key tool in the title race. Concerns about Ferrari's performance came not only from analysts and outside observers like Gary Anderson. In fact, from within the team itself, Charles Leclerc, Lewis Hamilton's teammate, also struggled to adapt to the SF25. Ferrari's latest car brings significant changes to the front suspension, which now uses a pull rod design for the first time since 2015. This change drastically alters the character of the car from its previous tendency to oversteer to more understeer. This change in characteristics not only makes it difficult for Leclerc, but also for Hamilton, who has to adjust his driving style to suit the car. Alex Brundle, a racing driver and F1 analyst who is also the son of famous F1 commentator Martin Brundle, also highlighted Ferrari's problems. After watching the pre-season test footage, especially the final day's session in Bahrain, he gave his views on Hamilton's difficulties. The Ferrari looks very difficult to control. This car seems to be a big challenge for the driver, even for someone of Hamilton's caliber, said Brundle. I saw a few moments where Hamilton seemed to be struggling to keep the car on track, especially when going into fast corners. This is not a good sign, especially with the season starting soon. Hamilton also attracted the attention of Red Bull advisor Helmut Marko, who is known for his sharp comments about his rivals. Marko openly highlighted the difference in performance between Hamilton and Leclerc during the Bahrain test session. According to him, Leclerc was much faster than Hamilton, who is still in the process of adapting to Ferrari. Leclerc is faster, that's to be expected. He already knows the team, the car and how they work, Marko said in an interview with the media. Hamilton has indeed improved in the last few days of testing, but if we look at his lap times, he is not yet at Leclerc's level. Marko also had a different take on Hamilton's motivation, which could be a key factor in his first season with Ferrari. According to him, Hamilton's mentality and fighting spirit will be greatly influenced by how competitive the Ferrari car is on the track. Hamilton comes to Ferrari with high expectations and a desire for a new challenge, but if he feels the car is not competitive enough to fight for wins, his fighting spirit can quickly wane, he added. He also pointed out that a drastic change in the competitive dynamic can have a big impact on the psychology of a driver who is used to being at the top. When you are used to being at the front and suddenly have to fight hard just to be in the middle or back of the pack, it can be a huge mental challenge for a world champion like Hamilton. In such a situation, a driver can lose motivation, especially if he feels that the opportunity to win is slipping away. Marko also stressed that Hamilton's first season with Ferrari will depend heavily on the team's ability to deliver a car that matches his ambitions. If Ferrari is not able to deliver the expected performance, the pressure on Hamilton can be even greater and that can affect his performance on track, he concluded. With various challenges that have been seen since pre-season testing, the 2025 season looks to be one of the most difficult for Lewis Hamilton. His move to Ferrari brings new hopes, but also great pressure. He will have to adapt to a new environment, understand the characteristics of a different car, and work with a technical team with a different philosophy to the one he was used to at Mercedes. Although Hamilton has a lot of experience and the ability to improve after every mistake, a lot of factors have to fall into place for him to compete at the top of the standings. The competition in Formula One is getting tougher, with teams like Red Bull, McLaren, and even his former team, Mercedes, continuing to improve their performance. Not only will Hamilton have to face tough competition, but he will also have to prove that his age is no barrier to staying at the highest level. In addition to the technical challenges and fierce competition, the pressure from the public and Ferrari fans is also a factor that cannot be ignored. Ferrari is a team with a long history and high expectations, and the Tifosi will definitely want to see immediate results from Hamilton. If he succeeds, he could become a legend in this team. But if he fails, the move could be seen as the wrong decision in his career. Can Hamilton prove the doubters right and overcome the challenges at Ferrari? Write your opinion.